Welcome back to day 6 of Survivor 50 Seasons in 50 Days. I just finished watching Jenna Maraska win Survivor Amazon in a season that was definitely a breath of fresh air after yesterday. Today I am joined by two returnees from the last time that I did this. We have Karen. Karen, how are you doing?
Great. Great to be
And
here.
Robert, you did micro last time, right? Yeah, you did micro last
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And how are we feeling tonight?
It's good. We're feeling good. The sun is shining.
So, kind of just going into this season, this is the first time that they kind of do themed tribes. We get men versus women, and I would say of the three men versus women seasons, this is probably my second favorite. The first would be coming up in a few days. What were you guys' thoughts, both when you first watched it and watching it through a 2026 lens of the men versus women storyline?
Holy sexism is what I thought. It's like, whoa.
Retweet. I mean, I think like with 50 like calling out all of the like edit bias, I think it like kind of brings to light 6 because I feel like this has to be like the first themed season too, right? I don't think
Yeah,
1 through
this
5 had
period
any
is the
theme.
this is the first
Yeah,
themed anything. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Well,
no, yeah, it's wild.
Well, and the thing about it is, of the three men versus women seasons, this is the only one where it's very apparent Prod wants people to sleep with each other. Like when you get to Vanuatu in one world, it's a more diverse cast as far as age. Here, it's like, okay, we want these people to simp over these women, and we want these women to flaunt what they have in order to, get in good with the men. And honestly, even in 2026, like it doesn't, it just feels laughable. It's kind of like watching American Pie again. It's like, okay, yeah, this is funny, and I know that most of these people are probably not like this anymore, and it's just you kind of have to put yourself in those shoes. Were there any outside of Sesternino, which we will talk about probably ad nauseum? Um, was there anyone that was saying or doing anything men and women wise, you were like, okay, yeah, let's just kind of skip through this?
Ooh. I mean, I don't know if like I feel like no one really like jumped. I think it was just like across the board because I just remember it's been a while since I've watched Amazon, but I just remember like the editing is pretty like rough. Like it definitely like tries to portray the women a lot more one dimensional, which is like ironic, guaranteed like taking into account what happens in the end. But I just remember it was just like they made like the men were all like bros, and then they made the women like always like against each other. 'Cause I think there was like a young versus old at the beginning, right, for the women.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a weird editing style, I think.
It, it seemed like such a focus to like the sexuality of it and the sexism.
Yeah.
Like any old show that you watch, you're gonna get comments like that. It's like, oh, okay, it's a different time now. But it just seemed like over and over throughout the entire season, even through the reunion, it just kept going. And I'm wondering if that is something that naturally came out, or if production was asking leading questions like, oh, did you see Heidi today? Or
It had
I
to
don't
have.
know.
Well, even
Yeah.
during the
Point.
challenge where they have to do the matching, Jeff is egging on these people. Oh, I see the way you were looking at it. Oh, you're so blind to what's going on in the challenge because
Yeah.
Shauna, you seem so much better now that the swap has happened. I wonder why. I do feel like, and they're also pushing. If we're being honest, like I don't think Heidi is as dumb as she's being portrayed.
No, Jeff mentions in the reunion that she has like the highest IQ of the whole cast.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
yeah, and it's something that I feel is different from Jeff in this season because of the way he's talking to the women. I've never noticed that in other seasons, but it's just constant. And even through the reunion again, I think the way he speaks to Jenna is just demeaning and offensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now we could argue, is she a good winner, strategist, whatever? That's different, but this doesn't excuse the way he's speaking to her still.
Absolutely
I
not.
mean,
And it sucks. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
I was gonna say like the Jenna point is interesting because like when you look at like the context of like the first 6 seasons, what like 1, 2, 4, 5 are all like 4-3 vote counts, and then like 3 I think was a 5-2. So like Jenna has like the best vote count, right? She was 1 away from a unanimous win there, and she holds on to that for a while.
She's also still tied as far as women, as far as immunity challenges are concerned. We're in season 50 now. Yeah. And it's not like, and they had an actual challenge beast this season with Matthew. So it's not like Jenna was just playing against a bunch of jabronis as far as challenges are concerned. Like she was out there competing against specifically Matthew, but I would say even Alex kind of could have made a run for it as far as challenges are concerned. Honestly, I'm not like, especially starting off, I wasn't the biggest fan of Jenna or Heidi or I guess Shauna because it did kind of seem like a Mean Girls type atmosphere. Now, to be fair, the men's tribe weren't any better because you have Roger. We're going to talk about Roger later. On the women's end, even Joanna, it's just like, just shut the fuck up. Like everyone else just kind of keeps saying. There was really, for me, Dina was the standout on the women's side. Like, yes, she was, I think Jean described her as like abrasive or whatever, but I felt like Dina was the most level-headed person across both tribes. And it sucks to see her go where she did, but I do think she played her part. Karen, what were your thoughts on Dina?
I feel like she is possibly the most interesting of the women because she seems the most complex in a way that like she can relate to a lot of different type of people and also see past certain things like, okay, even if maybe I wouldn't hang out with these people in real life, like strategically we should be friends right now. So which an early survivor is not always the case and isn't the case for most people, even in the season. So I think she's interesting.
Robert?
Oh, I don't know. I'm like I'm trying to like recall all throughout this season. Just some of like I was just like trying to go through and just think like so this whole season, like the theme and all of that, which kind of like really set it forward. Like we had so many themes after. But I always wonder about Amazon, like because Thailand comes before it. And I know this isn't your question, but I always think like Thailand is so poorly received, right? Like there's rumors that Thailand was like the secret second season, but then it got pushed back because it was so bad. I always wonder, I'm like, is that why they just went like fucking crazy up with Amazon and like went off the cuff? You know, like I just think like, was this like the first time Survivor jumped the shark because they were like, oh shit, ratings are dropping. 5 wasn't as well received. Like, let's make it sexy because sex sells.
Because sex sells, and we're gonna talk about it again later. But the merge challenge, every time I watch it, it's like, okay, Jeff's not saying, he's not outright saying take your clothes off for some chocolate and peanut butter, but the way that it's kind of the way that Jenna says it, it feels like it's been cut. Like she says, I'll take, and then it's like a different type of audio. I'll take my clothes off for some chocolate and peanut butter. And I wonder what the entire challenge, what actually happened in that moment. But yes, and I remember I was probably 12, 13 when the season came out.
Yeah.
And everyone was talking about that scene. And then Jenna and Heidi end up doing Playboy. So like it worked out as far as they got what they wanted out of it. And like I said, they don't really go back to this well specifically. And Robert, you pointed it out earlier, like off camera, until Micronesia, right? Or is that Karen? One of y'all brought up the fact that they don't do this again until Micro. As far as like,
yeah, like pushing them together. Yeah, Mike. We joked, we were like Mike, because we were like, oh, they just wanted them to hook up, and then I'm like, Micro is always rumored that Amanda Ozzy hooked up. That was like the whole couples thing. Yeah, yes. Couples alliance.
So the other person that was very compelling on the women's tribe is Christy. Christy, it's put out there from jump, I guess, that she is deaf, and she has a moment both, I guess, with everyone, and it seems like most people are receptive, with the exception of Heidi and Jenna, who most of the pre-merge, I just don't know how she's going to fit in, this, that, and the other. And Christy is another one that is relatively abrasive when it comes to other things. But I think that to have a player that is, that cannot hear in an early season like this, I did feel like she became one of the most compelling players towards the end, especially in her boot out episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in a modern season, well, not modern, but like say mid season, she would do better because she was just, that was the amateur mistake based on not understanding the game. And I don't know. I feel like there are things, if you watch the show, you learn not to do. Although, we would think that Ozzy would have watched Survivor before.
Oh.
So
who would have thought? We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk.
But you know what I mean. I would think that she would be in tune enough. Maybe had Survivor evolved a little more and there had been more seasons to watch, because she didn't seem like stupid. It just seemed her biggest struggle was dealing with the people, which I think her life and experiences really played into that.
Absolutely. And Robert, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I think like that's a really good point that you sometimes think about when you rewatch older seasons. You're like, how would these people fare in like the new age, like fast-paced Survivor, or like an age where like everyone playing has seen Survivor? Because I always think like that's the fun thing about maybe like your first 10, 15 seasons is you have people who've like generally never seen the show, and like at season 6, you have people who probably never even heard of the show playing, and like so the game is still developing. Whereas like nowadays, the game starts like last season apparently started like before production started. So I think it's interesting. Yeah, I feel like she would definitely like make really far runs. I mean, she made Final 6, which was cool, but she definitely would make, I feel like, really far runs in a more modern day. But her elimination is always interesting because like Jenna gives up immunity, and like there's no like Micronesia Eric thing. They're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we get our first time with the necklace being given away in a situation that nothing really changes. Like the people still vote for the other person that they're supposed to vote for, and there's no harm, I guess, in the necklace being given away. And Heidi goes home the next round. It sucks because Christy, for lack of a better phrase, got too big for her britches there.
Yeah.
Where she's saying, I'm the swing vote, and she's publicly saying I'm the swing vote. And we're going to talk a lot about people just publicly saying things in this season, because we're still at that point in the show's history where you can just kind of say things like that and not have to worry about being idled out or anything, of that nature. The other one is when Jenna, Heidi, and I think Alex all came in with like face paint saying, oh yeah, we're all tight. It's like, oh, well, suck to suck, Alex. The other person on the women's tribe that we don't even really have to touch on, I just kind of want to get you guys' opinions on this. I'm not the most religious person. When I was, I never thought the idol was a bad thing on the show. Joanna's big rivalry of the season, I guess, was either with Christy or with the idol in general. And I think this is one of those characters that we could only get at this point in the show's history. Because at this point in the show's history, I feel like a lot of people at home would kind of agree with that. Would kind of agree with, oh, she's coveting something higher than herself.
Like we talked about it, like those are the people who like go on Survivor and you're like, did you not know what you signed up for? Like, I don't want the idol at camp because it causes rain. It's against my religious views, and you're just like, so you want to keep going to tribal? Did you like want to be the original Palau tribe that goes
Yeah,
every
exactly.
single tribal. Yeah, that's I don't know. Again, I think that's a great example of like people that'd be a fun project. Go through the first couple seasons, be like people who had no idea what they were signing up for.
Oh, I've been doing that anyway.
Yep, good side project while you do this, right?
Karen.
I mean, overly religious people irritate me, but I also don't need to like get involved with it, either. But that's kind of part of the fun part about old survivors putting together wildly different people with potentially extreme beliefs. So, I mean, if we're talking about her religion, I think she's right. Like, if you look at like what the Bible says, but it's also ridiculous.
Yeah, that's I think like it's like an old reality TV trope, like your early 2000s reality TV, where it's like let's put the most extreme personalities
Great.
out there, and then just like watch it unfold.
And talking about people with extreme views, we have Roger, who is very apparent, both in what he says and what he does, that he has got some views. He has this whole argument with Alex where he's talking about he's not appreciative of gay males and how sex is supposed to be for just reproduction. And Alex is like, so you've only had sex twice in your life. And Roger's one of these players that we have almost every season up to this point where everyone kind of knows if Roger's on the jury, Roger's not voting for a woman. We have that in season 3. We have it in season 5. No. Who am I thinking of? We have it in seasons 3, and there's another one but anyway, we kind of know Roger's not going to do this. And obviously they set this plan into play, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Roger's one of these characters that once again can only really happen at this time period. And this is why I love pre-season 20 Survivor so much, because as much as these characters are people that I would not want to hang out with in real life, I love watching them interact with people that they also probably don't want to hang out with in real life. That's why Richard Hatch and Rudy are so iconic as a duo.
Yeah.
Because you have these two people that would have never even come close to meeting each other. And I think what happened with Roger in this season is he kind of ended up in a frat house on an island that just also happened to have people with more liberal-minded views in 2002 or 3 or wherever. Did we have any strong views or opinions on Roger, or can we move on?
Just delusional. Like you just, I don't know. Every time he like had a confessional, I just remember being like, and even like because I watched this season live, I was like 11, 12, and even like watching it, you're just like, what are you talking about? Because I feel like there's obviously like different levels of like intolerance that people have, and he was like the most where he's like, I'm not voting for a woman if she makes it to the end, and it's like, but okay, bye.
I feel like we don't get the redemption arc with Roger. He just stays like a grumpy old man. And
Yeah.
Whereas like Rudy might say some offensive things, but they're funny, and he's also willing to like move past that in his head.
Yeah, you get like the people like, I don't know if this is a great example, but like the people like Keith who like on his season, like he had to go to like exile with a gay man, and like you could tell that the producers are probably like, oh, we're ready for some homophobia, and he's just like, whatever, it's another human. Like, great, cool, he's a good guy. Like, yeah, I think that's a good point. Is like I think Survivor now is really good at giving like redemption arcs. Like the best example in recent seasons is like Emily in 45, right? Roger leaves the way he came in. Not happy.
Well, and the great thing about the Roger boot episode is they don't even try to hide the fact that Roger's going home. Like from the beginning of the episode all the way to them voting him out, in which case, like I remember the Rob Cesternino vote out, and I didn't realize that it doesn't actually happen in the episode. It happens in the recap episode that happens in the middle of the season. It's like a deleted scene. But they never hide the fact that Roger's going home this episode, and it still doesn't take away from how great that episode is from beginning to end. Because yes, we have chocolate peanut butter, but we also have the fact that everyone's just waiting for Roger to jump. And when he does, everyone just gives the thumbs up, the smiles. We all know what's ready to happen. Before we get to the actual merge, I do want to talk about how they do the swap this season. Because once again, it's one of those moments where it's like, hey, let's get these people banging on TV. And we thankfully we get the rocket scientist Dave and Jenna going to I guess a retreat. A romantic getaway, yes. And I know that they were upset the fact that it ended up being Dave and Dina during the round that Dave goes home. She's married. How did you guys like the way that they did the swap this time?
I mean,
because the swap is still
I like a schoolyard pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to think. Like 1 and 2 didn't have swaps. 3, it was just like a couple of people. I think 4 was like a full swap. 5 didn't have a swap. So like I guess it was like the second swap.
But
and then remind me, you said it was
pick, they had the schoolyard pick, and then 3 and 4 had the swap, the early versions of what the swap was going to be.
I love a schoolyard pick, in my opinion. Like I can't remember the exact implications of this season, but I just think like Micronesia made it really fun. Gabon made it really fun. I'm just trying to think of those. Like I feel like schoolyard picks are fun because there's so much strategy involved, and it's interesting to see like who picks who and why.
Mm-hmm. And Dave utilizes that strategy to relative perfection. Like both tribes end up losing one challenge before the merge, but he goes based off of all the information that Jenna gave him.
Oh my God, when I was watching that, I was like, "What are you doing?"
At this point, there's no blueprint. You just kind of just wing it. I don't blame her for it, I guess, because ultimately it does still work out for her. But yeah, in the moment, it is kind of like, stop talking. Just say you're close with Gene or something. Just don't put your number one out there. And so ultimately, yes, we're going to hit the merge. They're going to blindside Roger. And this is really where the Rob Cesternino character, goes from horny 23, 24-year-old guy to what I would say, besides Richard Hatch and Chris from Vanuatu, the one person that really understood what the game was from an early point in the show's history. And do you guys know who Michael Larson is?
Mm-mm.
Karen?
No.
Oh, okay. He's the guy that played Press Your Luck like in the 80s that had like watched the episodes over and over again to like learn where certain spots were going to be. And ended up coming out of there with like 6 figures in money, and they thought he was cheating, and he wasn't. He had just gamed the game. And I compare that to Rob Cesternino in this one, where he understands what the game is from a very early point, and with the exception of losing at Final 3, which you can't control for the most part, he gamed it in such a way that I do feel like if he sits next to either one of them, even in an era where people hate liars, he probably still wins the game. So I guess, what were our thoughts on Rob 1.0, specifically Merge On?
I think like weird kind of like creepy personality behind it. It's really interesting to see someone come into that and play like super strategic and not just like vote people off because they're not contributing around camp, vote people off because like they're annoying you. Like he had the strategy down, and it was just kind of like, it was just watching someone play 2 steps ahead, like pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, this is my first time actually watching it the whole way through. And I know Rob has a big fan base and people who believe he's like the best ever or whatever. But I can see how his behavior and the way he played the game was definitely different and more modern. especially like everybody else being so offended when they found out he lied. It's like, oh my God. So I thought that was just that dynamic was interesting to watch when people were figuring out that he was playing the game and just like watching their reactions to it, because you can see at times that they realize that Rob's right to be playing that way, but they're just like so morally offended by it that they can't like move past that. So I do wonder I do think he ultimately would have won, but it would have been a closer vote, I think, because
Yes, and we're going to talk about that vote count a little later, because it always surprises me by how much Jenna wins. And I would say that my favorite part about Rob is his confessionals. You know, this is one of the first times that someone has basically hijacked the confessionals in a season. And I think for good reason. You know, I do feel like we know enough characters on the season that we don't feel like there's anyone that's invisible, but Rob is definitely the best storyteller that we have this season. I would say with Dina would probably be a close second there. And Alex does give a lot of fun confessionals too. Karen, you were saying something?
Yeah, that being said, I don't understand how we can get a dud like Candace, 3 or 4 times, and then we only get Rob twice. Like, I'm still probably, my opinion of Rob is more positive. I've always felt like kind of neutral. I don't know. I lean between negative and positive, but it stays around neutral because I just didn't know enough about him to really have an opinion. But it is definitely more positive now. And like his confessionals were entertaining, even though more than half of them were horny confessionals, but entertaining to say the least. But I'm not understanding why he hasn't been brought back more than, I know his All-Stars stint wasn't impressive, but you know,
I'm surprised
he has had a non-impressive season. And what was it? Heroes Villains?
Heroes vs. Villains, She got to come back. I'm surprised he didn't get like a slot on like Heroes vs. Villains. But I think what's interesting about Rob is like he was like, if he at that time he was like 24, so of course he's gonna say a lot of dumb shit, and like that was kind of what the season was. So you can be like creeped out by like some of the stuff he said, but or like given the time and the optics of it, like you have, I think like there's like a little bit of grace I'll have there. But I think what's interesting about Rob is he has to be like one of the most like successful like media talents to come out of that show. Like how many people are still like working? I mean, I think most of his career is surrounded Survivor, but like he went on back-to-back seasons and then like I don't think did any other like reality, like he didn't do Amazing Race or any of that, and then he just showed up for Traitors earlier in this year, and like his reputation his reputation like still got him, which is crazy because like he hadn't played, I'll have to look it up, but I don't think he's like played a reality TV show in like over a decade.
He was just too busy building the RHAP, juggernaut, and it's worked out for him. And I do feel like I'm going to talk about this when I talk about All Stars in a couple of days. He's one of the people that I'm very happy didn't make the merge in that season, because I feel like we would look at him a little differently, because everyone that makes the merge that season, with the exception of Rob, Amber, and Sheehan, become way more hateable the second time around. That's why I'm glad that Jenna doesn't make the merge, for other reasons, but I'm glad Jenna doesn't make the merge in All Stars, because once again, it kind of feels like I'm good with where their stories ended here. Because one of y'all or both of y'all have brought up the fact that Roger didn't have a redemption arc. I do feel like Jenna, despite the fact that even in the penultimate episode, she is talking about potentially quitting or just wanting to be voted out, she still fights in those last 2 immunity challenges, and she does pick the right person, I guess, to go to the end. Did you guys feel like Jenna had much redemption towards the end, or did you always keep your whatever opinion you had of her from beginning to end?
I think winning the challenges, especially I feel like in the early seasons, like a woman beating out a couple of men in an immunity challenge, I think is always impressive. Jenna always I think personality wise did get a little bit whiny, but like at the same time, if I was in a jungle for 39 days, I would probably be the most insufferable human. So I always have to give the contestants some grace with that. I feel like she was a much more like, I think her character arc she filled was like a more like modern like Kelly Wigglesworth, like right, like dominating the immunity challenges, like and then just like, but I think she also was like the youngest on that entire season. So if you put it in perspective, like sure she was a little whiny and then whined to leave, but I feel like she played a decent like dominating game from like a challenge perspective. Like, and this is, I mean, this is probably before like challenge beasts were like considered targets and people to take out. But I would say like she has like I think a pretty favorable like game run and like win for me.
Okay.
I guess before watching this, I had a neutral positive opinion of Jenna. I didn't know enough about her game to like really have a solid opinion on her win because I never really watched it. But watching it through, I remember kind of like in the finale episode thinking, wow, I was expecting a lot more. And now I don't think she's a good winner at all.
I think her storyline it's weird because she is shown a lot this season. It's not like she's buried in the edit. It's just that and it's very similar to Thailand in the fact that I feel like they want us to root for her, just like I felt like they wanted us to root for Brian and Tuigon. It's just that in that situation, they all were hateable people, and with I almost called her Amber. With Jenna, she's either being portrayed as this overly flirty person, which that's fine, or this person that is just pretty bad to Christy and becomes whiny towards the end. And it's only when she wins those challenges, it's like, hey, we need you to root for her now. We don't want you rooting for Crazy Matt. And we're going to talk about Crazy Matt in a second because I felt like this time watching, I liked Matt. Like yes, and I felt like he was putting on a lot. Because everything that he did when Rob wasn't like holding his hand, I think it was strategic. Obviously, during the family visit, I think that he threw what challenge? Oh, he threw touchy subjects. 100% through touchy subjects because he was running away with it. And look, who do you want to see naked? And he puts himself when everyone knows it's going to be Heidi or Jenna. Come on.
That's a good point.
Thoughts on Crazy Matt and his machete?
Well, I remember because I've watched some episodes before, and I remember that episode with the machete and thinking like, "Oh my god, this guy is insane and creepy." But watching it again, to me, it felt more like the edit was trying to tell me he was creepy, and like the music and all this stuff, and I was just like, "This poor guy. He's just." I mean, yeah, he doesn't need to sharpen the machete that much, but I feel like people were mean about it, and I don't know. I that being said, moving on, I feel like he did have a redemption arc because like you have this opinion of him being this like creepy weird guy that's probably not very smart either or strategic at all. But he seems to apply like he listens to Rob and he's like, "Oh, you're right." And then he applies what he learns from Rob and is making strategic decisions, and he even considers lying at one point. And I don't know. I just like, I thought he definitely grew as a character. And I liked seeing him learning the strategy side of it because he obviously came into it not thinking about that at all.
Yeah, I always think so. When we bring up these contestants, I just Google them real quick because I'm always like, what was their luxury item? His luxury item, I did not remember this, was his high school wrestling jacket. I don't know if they ever touched on it in the show.
I don't think they did.
Irony, he's like 33 when the show airs, so you're like, okay, well, that holds on to it. I think when you link, so I will say, back on the Jenna thing, I do think in context she was a good winner. I will say and you mentioned this earlier about like, when you texted me about like what are like things that wouldn't like age well. I think Jenna, if she won in like the 40 to 50 era, oh my gosh, I think she'd be lauded as like the worst winner. Probably like her and Gabler would probably rank pretty close. because I think she benefited from those immunity challenges. But I think of the final three in Amazon, and I'm like, I'm very surprised they didn't start implementing a final three earlier, just because like of those three, like I mean, Rob played that game start to finish. He had the charm, he had the confessionals, and then you're left with like creepy Matt and Jenna. But I don't know. I think redemption arc did he have? Yes. I think it's a great example of, I mean, Survivor's always been a social commentary in the world. I think it's a great example of like people who just like don't connect super well with other people and they're just thrown in these environments and just like don't know what to do. And I think either Rob and him really did actually connect, or Rob was smart enough to see that like, hey, this is a loner that I can pick up as a number.
And it worked. I mean, it worked for Rob until the end, and it worked for Matt. Shit, it worked for Butch, who like, and we don't have to put much time into Butch, but Butch is so damn wholesome, and he's what they wanted Pascal to be in Marquesas, but he's more like what Roger was in Australian Outback. He's just this adorable old man, like just trying to do his best, bringing in all the firewood, burns Jenna Maraska's Zeta jacket or Zeta shirt, whatever it was. Butch was a lot of fun, and he goes out when he needs to, because we don't need Butch sitting at the end. I think that as much as Jenna versus Matt is like, oh no, if we got Butch versus Matt, I feel like that's somehow even worse. And that's not a knock on Butch. It's just he went when he needed to.
Would Butch win?
Butch versus Matt, I think would win. Butch versus Jenna, I feel like Jenna would probably pick up a lot of like the female votes. I don't know. Butch versus Jenna would be interesting.
Similar to Roger, Dina's not voting for a man. Dina's not going to vote for a man, so that's already one. Yeah. And then Heidi
has, and like, I don't know, would Rob just like
Well, I think Rob would vote for Jenna still.
Yeah, I feel like it probably still ends up being a Jenna win. I think that the more compelling in a horrible world would be a Matt versus Butch.
Who voted for Matt? Who voted for Matt at Final Tribal?
Butch voted.
Okay.
Butch voted for Matt.
Yeah, so Butch would definitely be Matt, but yeah, Butch first. I mean, Matt would probably vote for Butch. Yeah, I think Jenna would still win.
Just a couple of minor things here. We have what are you guys' opinions on holding a player hostage? Because Shauna is another person that's basically asking to get voted out, and they're basically like, hey, we're not going to send you home because we have to look out for ourselves. So they hold her hostage for, I think, 2 rounds before she inevitably does go home. Just quickly, is that a strategy that you feel like you would utilize in a game?
Yeah, yes. Because if you, then they're going to be the next to go, and that's just more people in line in front of you to go. So if you can like use them to get out someone you want out, and then if they're going to go out later anyway, whatever, that's like 2 more people. Absolutely.
Yeah. I see it. I see both sides of it. I feel like part of it's like, if they don't want to be there, vote them out. I think in that season, I think it was absolutely the right move to hold her hostage, because I feel like that there was no quits then. So like, it was kind of like, can you quit Survivor? But I feel like in the current age Survivor, they would just quit. They'd be like, bye, fine. Like, I feel like, I feel like 45 had like a bunch of quits. And those people were like, that one girl was like, if you don't vote me out, I can just leave. And then.
Yeah, she quit for Zins. Like that. That's exactly what it was. My least favorite challenge in the show's history is this is the first time that they do it, where they the piranha challenge, where they have to use their mouths to pick off as much meat as possible. But on the other end, my favorite challenge is touchy subjects in both orgs, live games, and on the show proper. Because I do feel like it kind of shows where people's heads are at. And this is why I think that Matthew 100% knew what was going on in the game and did throw that challenge. Because there's no way he thought that the people there at Final 7 or 8, are going to vote him as the person they want to see naked the most.
Right, over Heidi or Jenna.
Over Heidi or Jenna. Just numbers wise, there are more
I was
men
just saying,
there.
if we're talking, if the group is like Butch and Roger or whatever, sure.
Yeah,
But
yes. And that's another moment during the season where you could tell once again they were trying to get, because all of the questions, or well, I think half of the questions are very sexual, and it's just once again it's just kind of like we live in this little bubble this season of if this season has the cast of maybe Thailand or other seasons, we might not look at Amazon. I feel like a lot of people look at Amazon as mid to good. I feel like if you put the wrong people in the season, then it comes off as just gross from beginning to end.
This is good. I would agree with that. There's a touchy subject. So this was the first time, I didn't realize this was the first time. I feel like we haven't had a touchy subjects in like a long time.
It's been a while. It's been
I just always remember touchy subjects is the only challenge Zuri ever won as an individual. That's like my fun fact about it.
that's something I'm not understanding about 50 is we're still doing the like jump, go over, under, and obstacle, and then complete
obstacle course,
like,
complete a puzzle. Yeah.
Like bring back
and like
touchy subjects. There's like a lot of different interesting challenges.
It's not like you really need a budget for touchy subjects either.
No.
You just like you could easily just keep score. I think that's what gets me. And again, like this is completely based off Amazon. I think that's what bothers me so much about like the 40 and onward. It's just obstacle course, throw some things, do a puzzle, some combination of that, and you're just like, okay, like. But like the beginning seasons do have. I know the eating one is kind of weird, but like the Prana one. But like there's so much more you could do, and like you don't need like a crazy obstacle course. Touchy subjects is so simple. You just need names.
Or like, why don't like a final six or whatever? Let's do a trivia about the jury or something.
Yeah.
Something Sari could win.
Amen.
Yeah. What are y'all jumping off the ledge for during the merge challenge?
Chocolate and peanut butter. No. I feel like it would have to just be like, and it sounds dumb because it would have to be like a meat, vegetable, like rice dish, just because like I can only imagine like getting something like chocolate and peanut butter, like something so rich, or like it was just like destroying your digestive system, or like getting a milkshake. But like I would do it for like a nice like, or like pizza. I would do pizza actually. I'm trying to think like
with pizza.
Yeah, but like I would need to be like a nice like good meal.
I would say of the things that are offered here, I wouldn't jump down for PBJ. I wouldn't jump down for chocolate and peanut butter.
No.
Wings, pizza, and spaghetti, though, like, yeah.
Spaghetti. I would do spaghetti. So you wouldn't get naked for chocolate and peanut butter is what you're telling me.
I mean, if it's buffalo wings, I love buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
I'd be licking all the wings.
And especially with the weather, the way that it was during the challenge, it's like, okay, if I know that Roger's going home, we're all good. Just kind of quick fire here. We talk about how everyone kind of just is open about what they're doing. And this is one of those last seasons where we do get that. But even Alex telling Rob, hey, we'll probably have to cut each other at 4, which Rob takes and uses it to his advantage. We have Christy basically saying, hey, I'm the swing vote, just being very open about it. Do you guys kind of feel like in post-20 era, but let's just talk about post-COVID era, that knowing idols and all of this stuff exists, do you think that we could still get away with this if done the right way? Because it does work for Joe and Eva. Like, they are very open about it from their season, and they still make it to the end. Do you think that is something that someone can actually utilize as an actual strategy and not because I feel bad for this person or whatever?
Are you saying like kind of like the Joe and Eva of like, this is my like ride or die, like don't do anything else? Oh, you're muted. Oh, we got someone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Karen, did you answer?
No, I'm confused what the question is though.
So there are a lot of points during this season where people kind of just tell everyone what they want to, or like their plans. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like Ozzy, he did that.
Well, I think when it does work out, it's just kind of luck that it works out. I think in general, it's not a good idea. It would be very, very situation specific, though. But in general, I would say it's a no-no.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I feel like Heidi and Jenna were very like open, ride or die, but like I don't know if Heidi necessarily got voted off because of that. I mean, I think because like I'm trying to think back to her vote out. Like I feel like she was going regardless, just because of how the numbers were falling. But yeah, I think you're right. I think like I agree with you, Karen. I think it's very like situational. I think in some situations it kind of works. Like we saw it with Joe and Eva, and then other situations like people get really scared of duos. But it's in my mind, sometimes if people are that open, it's like then you know like who to expect. Like you know what you're getting yourself into if you're gonna work with them.
And then finally, I want to talk about, well, second to finally, the auction. Jeff basically says, "Hey, Jenna, I will let somebody else buy another letter." And it feels like everyone kind of agrees that Jenna's going to get it. And so Jenna starts with 80 and Heidi says 100, even though she's the one that's pushing for Jenna to get her letters. Random, but it also all comes back to Jenna and Heidi are still upset that Christy got her letter first from her friend, I think. And that ultimately is going to get to Final Tribal, where me as an audience member to this day, am shocked that Christy votes for Jenna to win. And I understand that there is that conspiracy theory that she didn't understand the rules. I think that's bullshit. I think that she knew exactly what she was doing when she voted for Jenna to win. And so Jenna wins 6-1, and it's one of those shocking outcomes, not because of who the winner is, but because, yes, this is the first time that a blowout like this happens. Karen, as with this being your first time watching the season and you saying, yeah, I knew about the outcome and all that, but going into that tribal, did you think that Matt had other votes?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be closer for sure, because I feel they were starting to portray him in a better light in the edit, in those final episodes, and I wasn't getting the sense from the edit that people really liked Jenna. Like, I thought that people liked Heidi, which is why they got rid of her. And Jenna didn't seem to be like, particularly mean. She just kind of seemed 21. Neutral and could be like slightly positive or negative depending on the situation.
She seemed like immature. I feel like that's how I mean, always describe Jenna. Yeah.
I think also she had in her head that, okay, this is how I look, so I'm going to be judged by that. And that means that these women aren't going to like me because they're not like this. But that is an immature mindset to just assume somebody's not going to like you because you're pretty. And then treat them accordingly. Because if you think someone doesn't like you, then you're like, well, I don't really like them either. And you're not going to be the nicest. And I think that's a situation we see with Christy. But the opposite kind of happens with Christy. She's like, oh, women like this have never been nice to me in the past. So I automatically am going to be standoffish with her. And so I think both of them are always kind of like that with people. But
well, yeah, Jenna Baker says it's her. She doesn't. I don't think she actually uses the word disability, but like And Rob's moment right afterwards, like, I'm thankful that I'm ugly, so that I don't have to worry about people. And it's like, yes, those are the moments where it's like, yes, this man is just such good television. And obviously it works out for him in the long run as far as the podcast is concerned. Final thoughts on the season. We'll start with Robert, go to Karen, then we'll get to our final question.
Can you repeat the question? I apologize. Yeah. I was trying to see if anything happened like crazy at the final tribal council that I didn't remember.
Oh, no, just final thoughts on the season.
Oh, Final Fantasy season. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I think Amazon's like a fun season if you obviously there's like weird comments that are being made and you're like and it's like but at the same time like that's just like Survivor's always been a commentary on the world and that's kind of how the US was in the early 2000s. Like we know there was like the super skinny fad that was going on, but like just like ultra like men pretty much just like hating women kind of thing. So I think Amazon, in terms of what was going on in the world, is a great commentary on that. I think it's a fun season. I think you have like the first like real person who came, Rob Sestrino, to be a strategist, and I think it kind of like helped the season bounce back because I just remember Thailand being like terribly like received and like I mean this was like when newspapers was where I would read. I just remember like my parents getting the newspaper and like Thailand being like the end of Survivor. I think it's like a fun season. But I will say though, like I think about all those people and like honestly, Rob Sestrino's like the only one who I think I'd ever want to see in a returnee. Maybe Heidi. I think now it's been too long, but I was kind of good with those people staying on that season, with the exception of those two and never leaving. So I think I would say it's like a mid-season.
Okay.
I feel like it's a really fun mix of nostalgic classic Survivor because even though we do start to see a little bit strategy and a little bit of a higher level of thinking, it's still primitive compared to today's Survivor. But the survival aspect is still a very big part of it. And they show a lot of that. And you still have tribe leaders and just things that you would never see in modern Survivor. And it is interesting how much the game has changed. And even with all the offensive comments, it took a potentially boring situation, because we don't have advantages, we don't have a high level of strategy. So, the rampant sexism at least made it like, oh, I'm it's like entertaining, even if it's cringy, it's still like, whoa. So
Who would your
I
ally
don't know.
be?
I think as far as old season goes, it is pretty good. Now, like I said earlier, is Jenna's win good? I don't think so, but was any early win like amazing? Maybe not comparatively to. I mean, it's rare to get like an amazing win, but I don't know. I think it's pretty decent, and it's really fun to see how much the world has changed. Because one thing I noted was I never thought I was offended by the word chicks before, but the way they were saying it in that show, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I think that of the first 6 seasons, it's probably my second or third favorite. I think that the gameplay, even though we're still in the primitive age of it, I think there is a big step up in it. Like the game goes back and forth the entire merge. It's not, and this is the second time. This is the second time in 6 seasons where two people that start off on different tribes make it to the end. So we're still very much in the era where if you start off in the same tribe, you go to the end together. So this is the second time that this happened. Quickly, who would your ally be this season?
I feel like mine would be like Rob Sestrino because I feel like he would just know what to say and I would probably just like blindly follow him. But I feel like I would probably like, knowing me, I'd get really hungry and really crabby, and then he would just say like some weird joke, and I'd get annoyed, and then probably try to like rally the women to vote him off, but I'd probably get voted off. But I feel like he is just the charm that he did have, and he knew how to like change his personality. I feel like he would just easily swoop me up as an ally.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, because I like intelligent people who I can like throw ideas off of. Now, is Rob trustworthy for that? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
But he would at least be capable of that. He would be entertaining. He would probably get annoying, but wouldn't everybody?
at
Right.
that
There'd
point.
be more. There'd be. I feel like you're right. There's. He would be, but like there'd be more annoying people than him.
Yeah, I feel like no one else would have been willing to really talk any sort of strategy.
Okay, so mine would be unless like we would have to go to the end together because I know that if she sat on the jury, she wouldn't vote for me. But Dina, I would Dina would be my person, and just we would just have to hope that we made it to the end. And so, final question: something in this season that y'all feel the modern day fandom, based off of however you perceive the modern day fandom, something that they would not like about this season.
Honor and integrity.
It's a
I
good
noticed
one.
Alex said something about in one of the episodes, if I hear honor and integrity one more time, I'm like, I hope Alex still doesn't watch Survivor.
That's so
He'd
that
be in for a rough
wouldn't.
season.
Yeah, I think. I think if like that season were to air now, I feel like Rob Cesternino would not have like the awesome career that he has now. I feel like, and I mentioned it earlier, but I do feel like at the time I think Jenna's a great winner, but I feel like Jenna would be like because I think no one in modern day Survivor wants to say someone's a good winner when they just start playing the last couple days or they like win their way to the end. And I think like she played a lot like a good last like right she knew who to vote out at final three. She didn't pull like a Colby. I mean, I know why Colby voted like the way he voted, but yeah, I think people wouldn't like her as a winner, and I think people would just be like, "What the fuck is going on this season?" But
uh,
yeah,
for
it's a like I
me,
said, Amazon's a great commentary of the times.
I think that for me, I feel like a lot of fans would get pissed off with, oh, these people like each other too much. They're not fighting as much as you know. Once
Mm.
again, because I feel like the modern day fandom just wants blood all the time. Uh, I feel like I feel like they would love Rob post merge. I feel like they would love Rob post merge and I feel like they would like Heidi and Jenna versus Rob in that situation. Okay, so like I said, today is my birthday, so I'm going out tonight
Yes, you
to
should. Happy
celebrate.
birthday.
Thank you very much. Robert, Karen, thank you both so much for coming on and talking Amazon. I hope to have you both back at some point before day 50. We'll talk. Thank you, everyone in the chat and everyone that's been tuning in, whether live or later. We'll be back tomorrow with Pearl Islands, probably tomorrow night, because I'm probably not going to watch until like 11 a.m. tomorrow. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow for Pearl Islands.